In the shadows of Detroit lies the city of Windsor, and in this city there are three very unlikely stories. Number one, a boy uses his passion for fishing to develop into a very successful career as a full-time fishing guide.
I've never seen somebody pursue something more than my brother Jon.
Number two, a man realizes his boyhood dream and gets to fish as an elite on the Bassmaster Elite Tour.
It's like a basketball player going to play basketball in the States and having never played before. I'm going to go down and make the team.
And number three, a professional stumbles across a bait design that becomes an international success almost overnight.
I'm making thousands of these things a year. Every single one was handmade by me and put together with these split ring pliers.
They should never have happened here, but they did, to one man. We're being guided by Jon Bondy. This is Guided. We might need to get on the motor on this guy.
You got 8 pounds on there, just so you know.
The head shakes are incredible. Down in dirt.
Catch everything out here. We got a double header on here. Smallmouth and a very large catfish for this lake. I'm gonna net your giant, that's a giant channel cat.
Here, let me take that from you.
There's a big cat for St. Clair, buddy.
Look, the hook just fell out.
That there is a big catfish for Lake St. Clair. That's one of the biggest I've seen on this body of water.
Look at
what
this.
A giant. That's like a Manitoba catfish right there, buddy.
That's 20 pounds.
Man, that's a big one.
That bass isn't anything to sniff at either.
Double.
Look at that. That is incredible.
Nice smallmouth.
Beautiful smallmouth.
Got that on a Bondy perch.
Okay, all right.
Well, I grew up in a small town called LaSalle, which is on the south side of Windsor. It's on the Detroit River. And you could easily hop on your bicycle and get to a canal.
So where are we?
We're on a canal that I grew up fishing when I was a little kid. My buddy lived on this canal, and we used to come here and stand right on this very dock and fish for pike and largemouth in here.
Oh, really?
I had friends that fished. No one in my family really fished, and they took me a couple of times, and I just fell in love.
Just as long as I've ever known Jon, Jon was around fishing, whether it was constantly reading magazines, buying new equipment, hanging out at the local tackle shop. It was just a part of his life.
Who are your television icons growing up?
2 guys, everybody in Canada growing up, we liked Bob Azumi.
Me too.
I got to fish with him eventually.
I met Jon Bondy when he was he had to be 15 years old, and he wrote to our office and he wanted to go fishing, and that's how we met.
I remember distinctly telling people that I was going to do this full time. I distinctly remember people laughing at me right in my face.
What did your mom and dad say when you sat them down at the kitchen table and said, I'm going to be a fisherman for the rest of my life?
And I think they were highly suspicious of my plans right from the beginning.
It's not like you can say, hey, I'm a guide now, and have 200 people lined up to be fishing with you. Now that takes time, and if you don't have those people lined up and a client base, which he has now, where's the money coming from?
I set out a plan, literally starting at like 14, 15 years old, to learn how to make it to the big leagues.
I always remember him entering tournaments, and over time the tournaments got bigger, prizes, bigger, larger, entry fees, more money. So here's a guy that doesn't have a lot of money, but he's willing to put his money where his mouth is and his talents and get out there.
And then I decided to make a jump and fish the Bassmaster Opens. It used to be called the Invitationals, and that's how you qualified for the Bassmaster Tour, the Elite Series. And I fished them for 4 years. And I went everywhere from Kentucky to Virginia to North, Champlain.
When Jon started to do better in some of the local open tournaments, the ones that qualify you for the Elite Series, he started to move up the ladder, and it allowed him to get into the Elite Series.
And I accomplished 3 goals. I made it to the top 5, which got me on TV. I made it debt-free, and I requalified easily for the following year. So I accomplished those goals, and I spent that next winter as excited as could be. Little did I know the following year was gonna be a disaster.